On June 10th of this year, a young black man was found hanging from a tree outside of the City Hall in Palmdale, California. His name was Robert Fuller. By all reports, he was happy and not remotely suicidal. This was on the heels of another black man being found hanging from another tree on May 31st. Aren't we done with this yet? It is 2020, people, and young black men are still being hung from trees. You can imagine that the families who suffered this great loss and the communities were upset. This discord and confusion and distress was made worse by the fact that very shortly after Robert Fuller's death, they announced that they believed that his death was a suicide. They said that they being the county coroner's office, said that his death was possibly a COVID-related suicide, meaning that he was depressed because of COVID-19. Now, I know some people who are depressed about COVID-19. I know some young black men who are depressed about COVID-19. Not a one of them would hang themselves from a tree. But we're here to focus on a bright spot. Of course, after this announcement, there was a peaceful protest at City Hall in Palmdale. Tensions were high, but there was no looting and there were no arrests. Shortly after this, the sheriff of Los Angeles County, Sheriff Villanova, scheduled an open virtual town hall. I actually got to attend this town hall. One of my people on Twitter told me about it, and I had the opportunity to listen to the last half. I have to commend them for their transparency. They took open questions from everyone who called in. They did not edit those questions. They let their constituents come off mute and ask questions themselves, and they did their level best to answer them. That's transparency in law enforcement. And it's transparency that is one of the incredibly important building blocks to rebuilding trust. Trust, which is in short supply all around the world at this time between citizens and their police departments. So, I want you to ask your local leaders, are they willing to do the same thing? We can't all come together for town halls at this time. And if we do, we should social distance and wear a mask, just for the record. But what we can do is use technology for good. Sheriff Villanova talked at great length about the information that was available on the website. They're updating that information daily. Now, I'm not here to comment on the investigation. I have a very difficult time, along with every other person of color, believing that these two men chose to hang themselves from trees. But an absence of evidence is not proof. So, what I'm commending here is the use of technology and the honest, open willingness for these people to come together and listen to their community and answer direct questions and use technology for good. This even included the detective who was heading up Robert Fuller's case. So, to all you other police agencies out there, start a dialogue. Use the technology that's available to you. Publicize these sorts of virtual town halls and allow people to speak. So, this is a step for success, transparency in policing. Meanwhile, I hope both these young men rest in peace.